Okay, have another breakdown. This is going to be some old dude over here, and then Juan, who's a purple belt, is a talented purple belt. Very fun to roll with. I think we were probably about 40 seconds in, maybe or so. Um, yeah, let's see what happens here. And by the way, I almost didn't do this breakdown. I don't like to do breakdowns of me rolling typically, just because I do a lot of things I don't think people should do. Um, anyways, they're not correct according to the book of JiuJitsu. So, anyways, all right. So here we go. So I really don't know what I'm doing there. I'm just trying to kind of do a float passing. Just seeing where the cards fall. So when you start to kind of get better at float passing, I really don't care where I land. I'm just kind of floating around to see which direction kind of one's going to take me. And at that point, whichever direction he takes me, it's all about understanding where I'm landing and then timing. So, because I've done this a lot, it doesn't really matter where I land up or where I land or where I end up. Land up, yeah. So, even if it's a bad position where he takes my back or something, we can work with that. So right there, I just kind of did a little. If you notice there, looks like he was trying to go to an X guard maybe. So he was producing an X guard here, but you can see my knee is kind of still kind of on almost like a knee on belly type of thing with hooks. The problem is that if he loses that hook, then we're going to slide into a leg lock. There. So now we're in a leg lock, and Juan did good. He starts to sit up, and now he's going to go for should be going for my back here. I'm going to turn on my side. And this is a very good position for Juan. This is what I was talking about earlier. Like, this is what I did there was probably not the best thing, because now I'm in a crisscross position with my legs. And Juan's his right knee here is splitting my leg. So when you have your legs split like that from a top position, I can't go left or right. Like you're kind of stuck on your side here. He has a good cross face, which is good. And I'm just being lazy here. And the reason why I'm being lazy here is I'm waiting for a transition. A lot of black belts, that's what they'll do, is they'll if they're playing this type of game, they're probably going to be waiting for you to transition and waiting for things to kind of open up. Instead of really fighting really hard in this position to make something happen, I'm just going to try to wait here. So let's see. The transition starting. It looked like he was going to my back, and he switched it back. Okay. And again, I'm really just focused on inside position here. As long as I just don't let him have any underhooks, that like we can't really go in, Juan can't really go into darces and guillotines and all these things like without some sort of inside position control. So that's why I'm kind of balled up here, just keeping my elbows tight. And even if he passes my legs here, we'll see what happens. Okay, so he's completely past my legs here. He's doing a good job of controlling. Got a good cross face. He needs to really drive this shoulder into my face. Make me pay for that, for being lazy. Just drive that shoulder into my face so that it puts me flat on my back. So it looks like he's being cautious here, and he's right there. So you can see he's trying to take his right hand to dig into the elbow. He's trying to go over my neck here, and this is going to be leading into guillotines, neckties, darces, anacondas, and all this stuff. So this is always the head and arm position is going to be good to go for. But the problem is, we'll see if he can get this arm into the position here and see if he can get his hand around my head. So what I'm doing here actually is I'm tilting my head to the floor, keeping my arm straight, so that it makes it very difficult to get into that little space that he needs. And then I'm keeping this very tight here, obviously. So let's see what happens. He may get it. Let's see. No. So you can notice that it's kind of awkward. Because he can't quite get any sort of inside control. So I'm basically just kind of a ball underneath him and he can't establish a seat belt or anything like that. So what he needs to start doing here is being kind of mean. And this will get me probably to move, putting a forearm in the face. And this is stuff like, I don't know, like, I don't mind when guys that I train with that do that, technically that's probably, he should do muffle my mouth, and stuff like that, and put his hand over my face and so that I can't breathe, and make it very uncomfortable for me as well, so that I will open up and I will move. You can be nice about it. There's a way to be mean and to do something mean and be nice about it. It's usually, this is what Ivan usually says, it's just speed that makes the move, crappy or not. Right. So if you throw something on really hard, really fast, and it's usually kind of, oh man, you're a jerk. But if you go about it methodically, then it's like, okay, well, I need to move so I don't get my face crushed. Okay. So that was good. I'm not sure if he lifted me up there or if I got my elbow up on my elbow there, but we'll see what happens. So I do like this. So he has his right foot over onto my hip, and I don't like that. I generally don't like this. So I'm either going to put my hands, double hands to the inside, or I may go back to flat. But I have to be careful because he can go to mount here. But I'm kind of staying in this in-between position. Let's see. Controlling that arm. And I'm just trying to sit up. So now that I'm sitting up, this creates a problem. He could start to transition to my back here, but because, again, there's no inside control, it's going to be very difficult to keep me there, right? To actually establish the back control, if that's what he was going for. My right arm here is very important. This right elbow, you see how it's tucked in? At any point, if he lets go of this wrist, or if he gets, too aggressive and starts to really go really fast, my arms are just going to go to the inside position here, and he'll kind of just fall off. So he opts to push me back down. So I'm back down on the ground. I'm just staying. It's so important, this top right arm. That right arm is so important here. This is what's kind of stalling the position a little bit, right? I don't really care too much if he pins this arm. I don't like it, but it doesn't really bother me too much until it's really the top arm, if I start losing this inside space right here. And I'm not in a rush. I'm just kind of looks like I'm being like a jerk and just being lazy and doing nothing there, which maybe I am, but I'm just, I'm just waiting to see where he goes with this. And then when he decides to make a move, then that's when I make my move. Nice. So as soon as you see I start to tilt down like I wanted to go to a stick or that I wanted to go to turtle, he did really good. And he started to go for my back there. And I noticed this, and that's why I kind of stayed in between. And now I'm tilting back the other direction. Not fully back. I'm just tilting that direction. And this changes things. See, we're still stuck in this kind of halfway position. He wants to go to back or mount, right? And I want, obviously, to get out of there and to establish some sort of guard. But I'm just being patient here, playing these the little slight movements. I do have a leg now, so that's good. His foot is between my legs. Okay, so back to a guard. So we're back to a guard. I switch. So I have an underhook here. Probably go to an X guard here and try to sit up. So this is classic, just basic X guard. Kick extend the person away, post up, do a technical stand up, and go for a sweep. I deny connection with the feet. So notice the feet are floating here, and one is on his side here. He's trying to establish a guard, but I'm trying to deny connection with my legs. If I deny connection with my legs, and both of my arms, if you notice, are on his legs, so it's going to make it very difficult for his knees to retract. This just gives me opportunity to actually pass. I mean, I will pass. It just gives me opportunity to pass, and makes him work a lot harder to maintain his guard or to establish a guard. Boom. So you can see right there, pass, and then now I'm just settling into the position to side control, turn to smother. Now I have the inside position. So now I have an armpit and head. And this is one of my favorite positions to be in. I got a lot of stuff, a lot of stuff you can do here. But I do like this position. So obviously I don't like it that much because I just let go of it. So I let go, and now I'm standing up. Again, this is stuff that I wouldn't advise people to do, but I mean, we're having fun. So I'll switch to a knee on belly. And also I want to take note. It doesn't seem like I'm doing a lot here, like I'm just kind of being lazy, but it's kind of this like floppy, kind of loose weight, right? Kind of like a wet blanket kind of weight. And we don't always have to be moving top speed and being stiff, Sometimes when you are more loose, it's on top, it's much harder to deal with your weight because your weight is shifting all over the place. So it's like, I always refer to it as like a box spring, moving a box spring, or moving a memory foam mattress. Like the memory foam mattress is obviously it's much more difficult to move than a box spring. So one stiff is one more malleable. So it doesn't seem like much is happening here, but kind of that floating, being loose, he needs to be careful because at some point I can shift and I can, either produce a submission or produce some sort of control or produce a pass. And it's not always like that. Sometimes you have to move, a little faster. Sometimes you have to do things a little different, but just trying to stay connected to him the whole time. Right there. So he did really good. He got his inside position back, and he has double unders here. He's going to scoop out of this, and we'll see if he wrestles up. I go knees down. I turn. Go to a dog fight. We're going to stand. He's going to sit. He has an inside position, so that was probably good. I mean, I think he could have wrestled up there, but I like that he sat back here with the underhook here. Okay, so this is like what I was saying. Don't do this stuff. But you can see what I'm trying to do. Just a little something different I'm working on to kind of flop over the person's guard. It's just a really lazy, but it does produce a lot of interesting positions. I've been playing this quite a bit. I would not recommend doing this if you're not, comfortable escaping stuff, because you will get your back taken. But notice I keep my hips really high over my shoulder. And what I'm just trying to do is like roll over my shoulder and I pop up on top and I end up in a top position. But there's no hooks here. So Juan does a good job here. He goes for my leg. That was different. So he goes for my leg and starts to enter into a leg lock. I recognize this position, so I try to go belly down and try to do like a gator roll kind of thing. That didn't work out. But because I'm too far away here and my leg is bent, Juan doesn't have a good enough bite, enough leverage to pull me back in. And now I can just do a classic defense, which is just with a leg lock, the basic leg lock, say Ashigarami or honey hole position. If they lose control of the foot, then I can retract it here and my weight goes down and then leg lock's done. So leg lock's done. Now he's more of in a crossed position as well. He's kind of crisscrossed. His lower half is going to the left. His upper body's flat. So this is more of a twisted position. Switch to mount. This is good again. He takes double under and he's scooping out. This is a really good thing that a lot of guys at the gym do. I do this move as well. I taught this for a long time. It's part of the panda stuff that we teach. But this is a very good escape and a very good way to show the usefulness of denying inside position. Because if you deny inside position, then you can easily scoop the leg here. So I recognize that position So people do it to me all the time. I just allow that to happen, and I switch and throw the leg over and go back to a side control. So I go to the back here because I think I might have. Nope, I switched. There's a Kimura maybe there. Nope. Stepping over maybe for an arm bar. Decided not to step to the arm bar. Now I am going to switch to the arm bar. Let go of the arm bar. I'm going back to knee on belly. Switching back to the other side to the back. And this is one thing to just take note of is, you don't always, it's very, sometimes when you're doing a move, let's say, for example, I was going for that arm bar. I'm absolutely positive Juan knew I wanted to go for the arm bar. Like he's like, oh shit, he's going for an arm bar. But then I decided not to go for the arm bar. I completely let the arm go. And what that does is, and now Juan's like, well, what the hell is he doing? He's trying to chase, I'm basically kind of making him chase what I'm doing. Onto the next, onto the next, onto the next. So we're never somewhat stagnant and just trying to, where we're just having a fight. Right, where I'm like, I'm going for this Kimura. I'm going for this Kimura. And I'm going to get this Kimura. Now, there is some, I'm not saying that's wrong by any means. You should. If you have a locked in position, you should go for it. And I do the same thing. But there is something in training to where you can do, or if you have something and they're defending it and they're fighting it, sometimes it's easier just to move on to something else and have them kind of play the catch up game. And you can see how this worked out to a certain degree. You can see here that in this little sequence, there was a lot of things going on that could have happened. I could have stayed in this position here for 5 minutes, or a few minutes, right? So right there, it looks like I'm going for an arm bar. And I decided not to go for an arm bar. I decided to sit on his face. There you go. And he's like, what the hell's going on? And then I'm like, I switched to knee on belly. He's like, well, why are you going to knee on belly? And then he gets on his side and then boom, scoop, and then slide in, and then there goes the back. There's a body triangle. Which is a much better position, I would say. I mean, obviously the back is the most optimal position you can be in, as far as strategically, as far as an attacking position. So I have established body triangle. I have hooks now. I have a body triangle, and I have inside inside position, a seatbelt. Oh, and the body triangle is trapping his arm as well. Not sure when that happened, but his obviously when that transition happened, his arm got trapped because I believe he was trying to scoop my legs, so he ended up getting his arm caught down there. So that's no good. Now this is a big problem. One arm, I control it. Once I get a hold of this hand, then it's over. Should be. There we go. All right, so that was good. We're gonna go a little bit more here. So we're gonna do a little wrestling. Okay, scooping in, lifting, turning, rotation. This is good. Okay, so I'm going to this floppy kind of passing again. Like, look at my weight. My weight is going all the way across his body here. Right? What you really just have to monitor, leg locks obviously are an issue with this, right? I mean, if he can elevate me and start to play guards and start to move me around, this can be a problem. But again, you can still play this type of game when somebody's, playing their guard. Just be more floppy, right? And it just makes it more difficult. I'm kind of being a wet blanket here. I like that. I like he's tracking my foot, trying to get to turtle. Like maybe possibly go inverted. The problem is maybe a back step here for a leg lock, possibly. So there's a back step for a leg lock. I could take it there. It doesn't look like I'm going to take it. It looks like I'm going to switch to something else. Yeah, I'm going to switch to the pass. Got to watch out for that guy's face. There we go. And right off the bat, Juan goes to Panda. So this is good. So now he's in Panda. I have no inside position. Although I'm trying to keep this elbow off the ground. And the reason why I'm doing this is I'm pulling this arm up is because I'm trying to get him flat. So if I can keep this elbow off the ground, he can't really transition to running man. He can't really go to turtle. It just keeps him more at an angle or more flat. He needs that arm. He needs that right elbow to be on the ground. Let that go, switch as he goes to Panda, switching just to a riding position. He does double under again. I do a back step to try to trap to a crucifix. It looks like it might have worked out. Yep, I got the wrist. That was a tap to the that was an arm bar on the arm there with the legs. All right. He's settling into the position. All right, let's see if I can, what I'm going to do here. Possibly go for a sweep there, change my mind, go back to the inside position. Elevation to try to go for the legs, maybe. Yeah, nice. I'd like to see, Juan's doing a good job. He's kind of engaging in the guard there, but he's kind of playing the wet blanket game as well. I like that. That was really good. I'd like to see him a little bit more like not allow the legs too much leg connection with my guard. Allow me to play that guard. So now just switch to a head and arm. I decided to go forward. This is the problem that we face nowadays is you never know when the person's going to come forward. So right here, this is critical point, right? So if my legs retract, right there, boom, see how I start to winch up. Now he's doing a good job. He's holding my leg here. Now what Quan technically should have done is either step over my leg and go to his right, so that way he doesn't break his neck going to the left, but possibly go to the right to see if he can pass. He has both my legs here and just really tripod up here and start to roll over the top. But he kind of allowed me to get to my feet because he used that hand to grab my arm because I was probably starting to choke him with some sort of guillotine. So it forces him to let go of that leg and then defend the choke. In doing so, now I can get my knees on the ground. Now this is a problem. Switch out. He goes to Panda, but I have an inside position on the right arm there. So the right hand arm is on the inside. And I'm going to go to the head and arm position. Okay, good. I'm going back to, I lift him up. So I do this a lot. I lift the guy's head up to try to get them seated again. And Juan does good. He rolls back over to turtle. Makes me chase him a little. Now I'm doing the ride, the saddle ride. And I'm staying back low on the back here. I don't want to be too high. There we go. And you can see my legs are kind of windshield wiper here, stapling, kind of riding the legs, and just keep my weight on top. There's the windshield wiper. Now I'm back to the back and going for this windshield wiper again. just riding on the legs here, double windshield wiper on the top leg. This is a very strong position. It just makes the person have to work really hard from the bottom. Just very tiring. Grab the neck again, and I'm looking to go for the back possibly here, but Juan's doing a good job of keeping his arms on the inside. So I can't just take his back from here because he has his arms to the inside. So yeah, I try to slide in through there, but I know he's going to turn that direction because I didn't have any sort of connection. And then I'm going to switch to the other side. And the reason why I'm doing this is that when people start playing Panda, one of the number one things you can do against Panda stuff, or somebody being very defensive, is to keep making them transition. If I can keep getting him to transition, then the weak points are in the transitions. I say this quite a bit. When he transitions, that's the time when I can actually do stuff. I don't want to start, try to force my hand into, if he's in turtle and he's staying really tight and just trying to force my hand into the inside position. I don't want to do that. I want to make him transition. This gives me things to do, like it gives me opportunity. And he's doing a really good job here of just, controlling the position, grabbing my hands. So he grabbed my hand there. That was great. So that was perfect. So I got in there, I was trying to do a head and arm, and because he defended the inside position, got a hold of my hand, he's able to sit back to guard. It's beautiful. I just keep going. I just keep coming forward and constant just wet blanket. Denying connection with my legs for a second so that I can come back in. So I deny connection. So he wanted to establish the guard. And I come back in on the time that I want to come back in so that I can start to pin legs or ride legs. So Juan has a half guard here, which is good. He's fighting the cross face a little bit. I'm just kind of floating around here. Boom. So that was just a posting on my head to float and popping my leg over. I kind of felt that was just kind of there wasn't really a connection with my legs, that I felt that was going to hold me there. So just go real high there and just pop my legs through. Okay. This was good. I thought he was going to go for that, which is, he's really good at that move. The buggy choke, I think, the buggy choke. So I've been trying to get wise to that position as of past few years. People have been trying to do it to me, so I've been trying to defend it early. Okay, trying to go for the inside position again to go for the back. Easily sit to the back here. Once I have that seatbelt, easy sit to the back. Slide the knee under the head, and then you can go for the back. Throw the hook in. Now I have a high mount here. My head is over top, so this is a high back mount. So Juan has to be very careful here. We're going to start to play the hand game. He's doing good. He got the turtle, so that was perfect. So he got the turtle. He needs to be careful that I don't start to get his elbows extended away from his body. And that was a tap because it's hard to see, but you can see that his elbow went away from his body. Right there. And that. And I think this is coming close to the end of the round. So that was a shoulder lock. I just barrel through, step over, deny the leg connection, but that was time. So really good stuff. Juan did really good. But I think it's a good, it's good to watch sometimes, how I roll, I suppose, or at least how I'm rolling these days. But it was a good, just a good, study of, I guess, kind of float passing. And Juan did really good about showing off the inside position and escapes from utilizing that and keeping moving, right? So yeah, all in all, I think that was good. I don't recommend doing anything I did here. With the exception of like riding the legs and pinning the legs and things like this is all good. If you do have a position and you gain an advantage, an advantageous position, you should keep it and you should work from there. I just, I think transitioning like that, obviously a lot of that transitioning I did was probably unnecessary. I could have stuck it and stayed in the positions, but it does make for kind of a fun and interesting roll to see what happens. So, well, there it is. All right. That'll be it. And we'll do another one. All right. Thanks.